Hello and welcome to the Cowboy4Game Yu-Gi-Oh podcast. I'm your host Jake. Today I'm joined by Kurt from Locals.
Hello.
And Ben from NolanTCG.
Mic issues make me deep throat.
I was going to go with old-timey race announcer, but that also works.
And step around, and coming up the rear, it's Lasty. No one's going to say, come on, Lasty.
No, mainly because after what you said the first time, you then said coming up the rear, and
I intentionally said that.
I was very put off.
I intentionally did that.
How was our week in Yu-Gi-Oh? Ben?
My week in Yu-Gi-Oh! So, what? What happened Tuesday? I don't really remember. Oh, yeah, no.
We versed twice.
Yeah, we paired twice. Round one, I played like shit, pretty much. You didn't open fantastically, and I just kind of won. Round two, I made like a colossal misplay, game 2 against Lucas. Lost when I should have won. Then played like shit and still won game 3. At least I'm learning playing Malice that I can just kind of play like shit and sometimes still pull out wins. Yeah, that's at least fun. That like it's a lottery to me. I don't know whether or not I'm going to make a correct play and then things are going to go well, but here we are. Then after that, I lost to Ethan. I was not playing well at all. Very much all over the shop. Made probably like 1 or 2 misplays that cost me the game. And then round 4, repaired Jake, and we really just treated it as a shits and giggles match. I forgot to bring this up last week as I moved the mic away from my face and it losing my voice a little bit. I forgot to bring this up last week, but I played No Material
Yes.
last week and this week. Cards dog shit. In my game against Jake,
Surprise.
the second match against Jake, I intentionally kept it in my deck, going first, then got hand trapped, cleared my own board, so that then the no material in my hand was live, just so I could see what it did. And then I no material Jake, and he passed. Because he thought it negated the effect.
Yeah, I assumed it was a lot better than it was. I thought
Yeah,
not
no.
only could you no longer use it for any material, it also negated its effects. No!
Nah, it doesn't work like that. It just stops from being used as a material.
Yeah, so I went to stop.
It's in the name.
Realised-
No material.
Yeah, but I also assumed that meant no effects.
No.
But it just means that
Otherwise
no
it'd be
material
called
is no
Gnome
good.
Effect Veiler. But yeah, that was my week. We're recording this a little bit early because we'll all be away at a regional tomorrow at Alliance Games. Jake won't be. Am I playing Malice again? Yes. Have I done any practice or study since Tuesday? No. I am very much going to continue to learn this deck on the fly until such a point that I get mad and change deck. I was considering playing Rescue Ace Raziel, but my Rescue Ace card didn't come in the mail in time, so that's not going to be happening. We're going to be on Malice, and it's going to be a learning day. We'll see how it goes.
The real question is no material staying in your deck for the
God,
regional?
no. God, no. Like, I actually need to sit down after this and change my deck list, because, like, it's still in there. Much like this week at Locals when it wasn't meant to be in there, and I drew it in, like, round 2, realizing, oh, shit, this is still in my deck. Yeah, it's still in there.
Okay.
I'm done.
Last Tuesday, I think. What did I play round 1? I played against Ethan with Lab. That was a pretty good game. That matchup is really whoever wins the die roll, unless he opens up.
Whoever wins the die roll, except for when he opens a hand that lets him play traps turn 0.
Exactly.
But Backjack discards it for cost off the Stovey Torby, so you can call by it. Or you can Bestial it if he normal summons first, which he did against me at game 1. He went normal summon and then discarded. And I was like, yes, Bestial.
Problem about that.
As
He
was
does
just
it on my turn.
Yeah, just referring to the fact
It
that
was
he
my
does it.
turn.
How do you have a body on
that
the
was
field?
that was when I
The
called by
maths
it.
isn't mathing.
Yeah,
yet.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. Call by is a one-off.
Yeah,
I'm
but
not...
then you just chained it.
Oh,
you
I
just,
also
you
opened
just take
called
the
by
33.
I opened called by every single time Jake Lancey at me. I opened called by so
Can I
often.
ever open call by when I get Lancey? No.
But that game went quite long. I think didn't go to time, but it almost did. He just got game on the board.
I remembered something else.
Yep.
So Jake Lancey at me, I called by it, and then I summoned 2 Chaos Hunters against him.
Yeah. Chaos Hunts are pretty good.
Yeah, you may continue.
What was my round 2 opponent? It was against Caleb, and Game 1, I just didn't have any hand traps. Game 2, I got shifted Ash impermed. Yeah, I can't. It's hard to play, and then in round 3, I ended up dropping before it because I didn't want to play a Makunko player. So,
Yeah, but why? That deck's really bad in the current format.
wasn't feeling the deck I was playing.
He equips the equip spell to your monster, and then you use the effect to synchro summon. Get rid of it. Equip spell's not there anymore.
Yeah, true. But
You have a quite good matchup.
I just didn't feel like playing that night. Like, I played
Like-
the first 2 rounds, didn't really...
The only thing you got to worry about is Lava Golem.
Yeah. But anyway, that was my Tuesday. Waited, watched these two
Fuck around.
fuck around for 45 minutes. And then
If you listen
went.
really closely in the background of the finals match, you can hear Ben put on a definitely not offensive accent.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, my weekend or week wasn't too great.
That's all right. There's a regionals tomorrow.
Yeah.
You going to top?
I'm topping tomorrow.
My week. So yeah, Tuesday. So my biggest problem with playing Malice at the moment, besides just drawing terrible hands, but that's neither here nor there. Dominus Impulse is a really good card. Unfortunately, I only own one of them. The ones I was using for the YCS were borrowed, so I need to acquire more Dominuses.
Domini. It's Domini.
Well, I prefer to say Dominuses.
okay.
Domini Impulse.
It will be in Stampede.
It'd be nice
I
if it was
actually
in
really
Stampede.
Well, for Walos is there.
Wallace is there, however,
They need to hold something to give value to the
something
Megatins.
needs to be in the tins for them to matter.
They're not going to do tins. I reckon they're done with it.
Unless they
They
bring
have.
out-
They've done the tins every year for like the past 15 years.
And this is
Actually,
the
it's
end.
10 years, but
Well,
This is the end.
we'll circle back to that. So, in the meantime, what I've tried to substitute in is Dimension Shifter. And the problem with Dimension Shifter is the week before, when I was running Dominuses, no one had Malice. Then I came in with Shifters, and half the locals Malice. Became a problem because I drew.
he says half the locals. It's just me. The 2 matches that we paired.
No, Caleb.
Ah, okay.
Caleb's Harry has it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's hard to know when Harry's doing what deck. So, yeah, the issue is I drew Shifter against you, I think, both times, and against Caleb, and it's like, this is completely useless.
Yeah. The first in the first matchup when you shifted me, I was like, oh, I know how to play through this. In the second matchup, I was like, I can clear my board and make no material.
The funny thing is, I haven't read No Material to know, obviously, but does it need to discard to the graveyard?
No, I think it's just discard.
Because imagine it just had another hurdle it had to try and
Not
cross
only
to be
can
good.
you not have any cards,
You
but
have
you
to
also
control
have
no
to be
cards.
able to send cards to the grave.
So yeah, that's the problem that I'm facing at the moment. Also want to try and work out some lines, if there are any, of how to play around being Lancet, because I get Lancet a lot, and it's becoming a problem.
I think there's some extra changes that you have to make for that.
Yeah, which it's doable.
With
Also, the new support lets you play around it.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that's not for another
2 months.
it's not that long. Doesn't it come out April? Or am I thinking
No,
Stampede?
Stampede's April. It's like first week of May, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. We're still a little bit of time away.
Seeing as though there's not enough news, I'm going to check that now. Let's see. Alliance Insight release.
Speaking of news.
2nd of the 5th.
Yeah, see.
Ah, okay. I think I can manage that.
We are a while off. But as I said, speaking of news, it's time for your Mall Chummy Market Watch. I know why you people are here. Oh no, guys. Big problem. The Mall Chummy Market Watch is on the camera. Time to live on the fly do your Mall Chummy Market Watch. Mall Chummy for Walos.
While he's interrupting my week to do his...
Still the same price as last week. Still the same listing. No one's buying this listing.
We're doing like pseudo bumps for these people listing for Wallace. It's doing nothing, clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Someone buy
Drop it to 100, you bitch.
Fatevin11. That's neat. His name's Fatevin11. Like 7-Eleven, you know.
I thought you were making a reference to the fact that you're Ben 10.
No, his name's for Tevin 11. But yeah, still 125 plus postage.
Too much. Drop it down to 110. 100.
100 is probably the going rate.
$60.
I was about to do a bit and just go down by $10.
But
for a little bit.
what's the value of an ultimate rare Grand Pulse?
What?
The
That
XEs
depends very
for
much
robots.
on whether you are the buyer or the seller.
Yes. Some buyers would say $80.
Some would.
TCG player converted and seller offers would say $30.
The 37 Andrews that have applied to try and get it for $30 have all been told no.
And some
I don't know who
blocked.
those Andrews are. They're certainly not our Andrew.
Yes.
And it's certainly not me on pseudo accounts. Back to my week. So one of the highlights of this week, of the one locals that I played, is that I've now officially drawn more cards off Mulchummy Meows than I ever have off Mulchummy Fawalos.
Did you Fawalos me?
Yes.
I think I tried.
And then I passed because I had no material in hand.
No, maybe. No, because you would have used it. Unless I also had nothing on the following turn. I feel like you ashed it.
I don't know. Maybe I cold bite it. Who knows? I did have lots of
Cold
cold bite.
Bite was used exclusively on my Lanciers.
Yeah, that was fun.
I'm sure it was for you.
Also, statement for the chat. I keep getting criticized I keep getting criticized about not setting off of Griffin when you summon it.
Yeah.
You can't.
Oh, if you do it the full way, you can.
Yeah, but when you do it the half combo way, you can't. Because everyone keeps being like, why are you using this for effective set? I'm like, it's the only monster on board. It's negated.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was back. Oh, what format was it that Griffin was being used last?
Unchained.
No, before that.
Like Goki.
No, after that.
Okay.
There was an in-between format because it was happening a lot in, I think, Kyra's replays.
Where it was like illegal,
It was tier.
illegal
It was tier.
sets on the
Yeah, tier format. Everyone was saying the same. It's just like, oh, you can set meta noise off it. It's like, no, you.
No, you can't. It's an illegal play. If it it itself negates itself. Fun times.
It is right.
Because only linked monsters on the field can activate their effects.
Oh,
If you-
activate. Yeah.
Yeah, if
okay.
nothing's pointing to it can't activate.
Yeah.
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 Fun story. Just want to get that out there. Yeah, my grievances with the world.
Yeah, and then Master Duel very quickly. I think the second stage of the Duelist Cup is happening right now. I would love to be at a point where I'm participating because I found a deck that's both easy enough to get wins and quite fun to play. However, my computer seemingly doesn't like the Duelist Cup and almost exclusively has issues in the window of the Duelist Cup.
Okay. Interesting.
I tried to play against a Labyrinth thing and it completely overheated and died.
Yeah, it was like, buddy, are you sure? Do you want to do this?
Yeah, it's heard me air my grievances about Labyrinth matchups too much, and it's like, I'm going to save you from this by martyring myself and dying
Yeah.
to exhaustion.
Yeah.
I really do need to get a new computer. I've delayed it for so long.
So long. But
I can't decide on what I want.
because you keep wanting a laptop,
Because I don't need
a home PC.
a home PC.
Yeah, like you don't
Just-
play enough video games.
Like, it
to
just needs
justify
to
a
be
home PC.
powerful enough to run Master Duel and the occasional work thing. So I really don't need to go for a fucking RGB, fucking water-cooled fucking whatever. I really don't.
Do you have a problem with my RGB water cool whatever? It's what I call it.
You
I
don't
built it from scratch with a bunch of random parts just because they all were the same color.
Well,
It's definitely
the
a
thing
whatever.
is, you definitely don't have the RGB keyboard, right?
Yes, I do. I have a very expensive German keyboard. I actually need a new one because my W is starting to stop working. It's just
It's
like
very important in German. It's a very critical letter.
it certainly is. Yes.
But yeah, but I also have an aspiration that for a couple of hours every week or maybe every fortnight or who knows that I do a Master Duel stream for the people.
Yeah.
So it needs to also be good enough to do that.
Stream.
And I don't know if
Probably a MacBook then.
But I don't know if Macs can do Steam. Can Macs do Steam?
Yes.
Yeah.
They just can't do every game.
Okay.
But Master Duel is one of the ones that works. If you're just going to play Master Duel, it'll work. It'll do your job.
I'll look into this around tax time. because this tax time I don't have a car to worry about, so it should be fine.
Look, fair. This time I will have a car to worry about.
Anyway, the deck that I'm playing for the Duelist Cup, assuming that my computer hasn't completely died by the time I look at it again, is going second Horus. I just play every destruction card and every triple tactics card,
Fair.
and then just summon a bunch of Horuses.
Yep.
It's Horus-Eye again.
It's not.
Horus-Eye. Ask the Egyptians. Egyptians in the chat, tell me what it is.
Do you play the dragon?
I do play the dragon. The dragon's insane at breaking boards because they just immediately try and destroy King Sarcophagus.
Yep.
And then the dragon goes, "Hello, I'm here," and you're not.
Bye, boy.
Look, fair.
The
Very fair.
only downside of going second Horus blow up boardy deck is that I don't get enough of the daily things ticked off because you need to summon stuff from the extra deck.
Why are you making Xyz monsters?
I only summon from the extra deck when I can't break the board.
When you summon your Bear
Do
Man?
you not play
I
the...
summon-
Or Coach King Wolfpack? Wait, no,
Well,
Wolfpack's the little
that's
one.
going first.
Okay.
You can't enter
Giant
your battle
Trainer.
phase if you do the Coach King
Yeah.
Giant Trainer.
Can't you go into the OTK dragon?
Yeah, but that's not fun.
You get your
Plus-
extra deck summons.
Plus,
And a
that-
win.
That sometimes plays into the Nibiru I'm trying to avoid by just summoning
okay.
4 Horus. So
But
the idea is...
Just summon
only,
2.
Isn't that only for the fourth
Just summon 2, then third is the Xyz, and then the fourth is the other one.
Okay, so the reason that won't work, and it's happened to me a lot, and the only reason I have had to go into the extra deck is
Yep.
because I summon the 4, I go to attack with the 1 Tef who's on 4600,
Yep.
and they've held the imperm for its attack. So then I'm off game. So then the main phase 2 strat, because a lot of decks can't avoid this, is I summon Xenophon, the rank
Yep.
8 that's no summon from the graveyard.
Yeah.
And then I summon the Galaxy Lord.
Then negate, monster negate.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just summon those 2 in defense. The Xenophon's massive.
Fair.
I negate something, and then everything's fine.
Okay.
Okay.
Makes
That's
sense.
only if shit goes wrong.
But you could still set up Photon Lord, then go for your OTK.
Nah, because they have the imperm. They always have the imperm.
Okay.
I will say it's really fun when you verse the Fingsmith Snake Eyes as Amina, and you just lava golem the 2 negates and then
Yeah.
fucking completely blow up the board. It's real fun. So,
You can transition.
that concluded. We move on to news. There's not a great deal of it this week, so oddly enough, we're going to be starting with some
wait.
Rush Duel news.
We're starting with the Rush Duel? Is there no Master Duel content?
Well, the Master Cup. That is all.
Yeah.
Moving on to Rush Duels.
Oh, I was going to jump off of that, so...
Oh, well, okay.
Yeah, he's got more Master
start with
Duel.
Master Duel. The Duelist Cup is on. Ben, do you have anything to add?
I was more... Okay, I wanted to open up a conversation today. Do we do this after the news, or do we do this before the news?
Up to you. Up to you.
We'll lead with this. So, in the Duelist Cup for Rush Duel at the moment, something rather interesting has happened, and I'm not sure. I'm gonna assume no one watching this, or very few people watching this, have paid attention to it. So essentially, Konami has accidentally created the most budget Tier 0 format ever, to the point where 100 out of 100 decks, the top 100 decks from the Duelist Cup in Rush Duel, were the same deck. There was 4 decks that had a bit of variance in it, and they were the 4 decks playing more back row removal than the main deck.
Okay.
So, rather interestingly, again, it was a free deck. So, It's Guy the Fierce Knight. So, it's the Guy the Fierce Knight Rush Duel deck. They gave it to everyone for free. You could pay the 900 gems to get a second and a third, which obviously you'll do because it's 2,000 gems. Congratulations, you've got yourself a Tier 0 deck. Possibly the most budget Tier 0 format we've seen in the game's history. So I more or less wanted to open the floor on today's podcast, given that there's not much news, there's not much questions, just in talking about the history of Tier 0 and get everyone's thoughts as to what their favorite Tier 0 format is, what their least favorite Tier 0 format is. I know, Kurt, you haven't played many Tier 0 formats, but
I've only played 1.
Tier.
I don't think we've in the physical card game ever had a budget Tier 0 format. Spiral
suppose-
was cheap if you owned the stuff beforehand.
Yeah.
I think that was probably the cheapest one.
So I guess it depends on where budget is, because I feel like applying most games' logic of budget to Yu-Gi-Oh, you'll never find a budget deck.
Look, to be fair, I think Spiral. What was the expensive card? Like Ash Blossom was probably the most expensive card, and they're like just your generic, not in engine cards. Like Ash went pretty hard on that because you could Ash the Link 2.
Mm-hmm.
They declare monster off the top of your deck. Guess what? Here's my Ash Blossom. You don't summon from deck. No master plan. Congratulations. Kurt's looking real confused because he doesn't know how this deck works. But
Okay,
Spiral
so
is
double
insane.
helix. Link 2. Declare a card type, monster, spell, or trap.
Yeah.
Reveal the top card of your opponent's deck if it is the declared type. Summon a Spiral from your deck to a zone this card points to.
So you summon Master Plan,
okay.
and then every time Master Plan goes to graveyard, it adds the field spell, which is not once per turn, and adds a continuous
And not
spell or
limited at that
trap.
point either.
Yeah.
Okay.
So then the continuous spell and traps are double summons. So you have the spell, and they banish from grave to special from hand. You discard more
Special,
various
the one
effects.
that added another one for
You
the
just
deck.
vomit out a lot of monsters.
It was the beginning of Link Span.
It wasn't that oppressive in terms of like the end board that it put out. Like it only really put out a negate and a double pop. But like a negate and a double pop, very, very bad.
So pretty much it's just worse Razio?
Kind of, yeah. Probably one of the more important things as well is like it was so oppressive that Cherries was played.
Okay.
In pretty much every deck.
Because everyone played the deck.
Like you just Cherries the double helix. Like I played against Ryan Levine in Melbourne, and we passed for about 10 turns because we both opened Cherries, and we just went pass, 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 pass. Like draw pass because none of us wanted to summon a card because then we could Cherries the other person.
Yeah.
And the counterplay was who can play through Cherries first.
Yeah, so that's where his side deck patterns are effectively what won in the YCS, because everyone got into this game of pass, 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 pass. He started in Ghost Trick Jack Frost. So eventually, when you tried to play, Ghost Trick Jack Frost nukes your board. Because you get Cherries, you can still go to like Boral plus the double pop, plus maybe another card to try and push for damage.
Yeah.
And then you declare with the Boral, you get Ghost Trick Jack Frosted, it flips your Spiral Sleeper face down, its protection goes away, you clear it, it nukes your board. Done. Quite interesting format. I personally quite like that format. I'm not super against it. I really enjoy Spiral. I think Trickstar has an interesting place in that format for good Trickstar players. I know there was certainly not a lot of good Trickstar players there. And then what that kind of led into after Spiral got banned was also quite interesting. Like, yes, we moved into a double FTK format, but World Chalice won YCS, so hey, here we are. One of the few YCS. I do think Spiral format showed true skill in players. Like, the Khan brothers winning back-to-back YCSs was very, very interesting. So like an older brother and a younger brother won back-to-back YCSs, one after another. Very, very interesting time to play the game. Personally, probably my favorite T0 format of all of them that existed. Granted, we had that entire year was T0 format because we came out of Zoo into Spiral format, which was fun. The year before we had Pepe, fun. One of the more expensive T0 formats, Pepe, because that extra deck was very pricey. One of the few traps you played was Solemn Strike, which was very expensive. Still not expensive as playing 3 Dark Destroyer, which got reprinted 2 weeks later, but hey, here we are.
My thoughts on all of that is I hated almost all of those. Actually, no, I did. I hated all of those. I didn't play that much in Pepe. I think at that point I was just starting to like get into the game again.
Pepe was when I came back. So I came back from Pendulums not existing before I went away. Came back into Pendulums and was like, what the fuck is this? This is great. You mean you could just summon 5 monsters every turn?
Yeah, so because of how underpowered my deck was, and I wasn't prepared to play Pendulum at that point, God, that was a fucking tongue twister. I didn't like Pepe. Certainly didn't like Zoo. To this day, I've not summoned a Zodiac card of any kind. Definitely hated Spiral. That deck.
What'd you play for Spiral format?
I was playing Pen Match.
Okay. Which ended up becoming a very good deck.
Once Spiral
was gone, yeah. Who would have guessed that popping your pen scales hurts that one deck quite a lot?
So the thought I've always had is like a big what if Pendulum had gotten Electromite at the same time that Double Helix had come out, if that would have diversified the meta at all, if
Did Electromite come in that February set?
It came right after Spiral.
Yeah, okay, makes sense. Which is then when we got Pendulum FTK, and we got Gemknight FTK, literally in the same set. Both cards coming out of the first ever Link Vrains pack. Both of the Electromite and the Link 2 for Gemknights. Both came out of there. Both facilitated FTKs.
Yeah, dark times.
Link Vrains, those Vrains packs were, looking back on it, insane.
Oh yeah, like the cards we got in that, because like you circle back through it, you had Jasmine, which is now like an insane card for plants. The obvious one, not Electromite, the other one, Halka Fibrax.
Yep. Which they waited a year to give us because they knew it was broken.
Oh yeah, the OCG displayed just how fucked that card was.
I actually think it was like 18 months it took us to get Electromite.
Yeah. I think they were very unsure of like, okay, if other cards exist, this card cannot come through. Because I think we had Summon Sork eventually, the fucking jump promo.
And then they got rid of Summon Sork before we then got... Yeah, so we never had the full...
And the Firewall, I think?
No, Firewall left after. But we definitely was kind of seeing that format of... The OCG had normal summon Formula Synchron. Normal summon Jet Synchron equals Boral Sword Dragon OTK.
Sorry. It just occurred to me just how very bored Kurt is of this conversation because he just jumped onto another app on his phone just like...
Kurt's definitely heavily engaged in this conversation, so...
I'm not back in this 2-0 format, so I have no input.
We're about to talk about tier in a minute.
I know.
So we'll get there.
Yeah, we're there. Tier.
No, I was going to try and get Kurt into the mindset of... We didn't get Hulk for so long because they openly acknowledged there is like 7 tuners we have to ban to print this card. Like they slowly kind of banned them throughout the year, and we're like, is this next? Are we getting it in the next set? No. They banned Blackwing Gofu. Does that mean we're getting Hulk? No. Or they banned. We still had Mecha Phantom Beast.
Yeah.
Which was the transitional one, but essentially the Jet Synchron.
Yeah.
You could normal summon Jet Synchron, go into Link Rebo.
Yep.
Bring back the Jet Synchron, go into Hulk summon O-Lion. O-Lion Link 3 into Summon Sork, summon the token, Summon Sork off a card from deck, go into Boral Sword Dragon. Game.
Yeah. I do remember the Auroradon Hulk. Because
Auroradon Hulk was fucked. I hate that shit so much.
I bought Auroradon. It got banned the next day.
Auroradon, by the way, another Link Vrains card.
And then I bought Hulk later on to like kind of facilitate more of the combo. It then got banned the next day.
Yep.
Before we move on to his and I's favourite T0 format, was there any card in the Link Vrains pack that made 0 impact?
Yeah, there was a couple. Like the wind-up Link. Like if all wind-up cards are legal, quite a good Link.
Wait,
however...
No, was it in that... Because we didn't get it in that February set. We got it...
Yeah,
late.
So we got 10 of the 20 Link Vrains cards in that February set. Actually, no, I think we got 9. Because I remember, we got 9, and then our 10th import was Scrambled Egg.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Scrambled Egg is a trap that summons Sonic Chick from deck.
Sonic Chick is a tuner that can't be destroyed by battle.
Yeah, we got 9 pretty busted Links and Scrambled Egg. In a set that was themed around Synchros, by the way. We didn't get Hulk. They were like, congratulations, here's Warlord Savage Dragon. No Hulk, though. Here's TGs. No Hulk, though.
Because the Black Rose Link eventually became relevant. It took a little while, but once Dragon Link got off the ground, that was
Vrains Pack 2, I believe.
Oh,
let's bring up the Vrains Packs.
Yeah, let's do that.
Because very, very interesting. Like, effectively, Konami's apology letter to the community. Like, Link's Vrains Pack was, hey guys, we're so sorry we made it close to impossible for you to play. Anyway, here's a bunch of Links that once all of a sudden you don't have to play Links anymore, are gonna be fucking insane. Because, like, Jasmine's not very good. in a vacuum, Jasmine is not very good. It was only ever good when we had the plant that does the burn, because you could Jasmine into that and go into the Boral that points down and pops a card, and then infinite loop your opponent for burn damage for game. So we had to ban that before we got Jasmine. Very interesting. Sorry, I should really actually do what I was saying in link and search, but I'm trying to hold the conversation. Link Vrains pack. Here we go. Link Vrains pack 1. Set list. Please show me the set list. Okay, we got... This isn't going to tell me. Here we go. We got Master King Archfiend. Garbage.
Yep, terrible.
Archfiend... Oh, no, this is then a bunch of reprints. Effect Link Monster. We got the Glad Beast. Pretty shit.
Yeah, that one. They've gone through 3 Glad
Yeah.
Beast links, and they've only just landed on something
Yeah.
half decent.
Then we hit the first broken one. Curious. On the ban list.
Oh, yeah.
Just
God, I've forgotten about Curious for a
Yep.
minute.
Curious was just hanging out in there. We got Gem Knight Phantom Core.
Very
Probably-
broken for one person.
The fact that there was a time when that card wasn't banned was very interesting. Steel Swarm Origin, pretty garbage card.
Yeah.
I think there's probably like a 50% hit rate on these links. We got the Insector. Didn't remember this existing.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so
Which you ended
it's
up getting played in B Trooper.
B Trooper, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you could equip the insect that, like, when it's sent to graveyard searches and all that shit.
Yep. Next off, a card that everyone's been begging to be banned for years. Heraldic Seal of Heavenly
Oh,
Spheres. The Apology for Dragons. Then we have Crowley, the first Prophecyr. I don't recall that ever really seeing
Super
play.
niche.
We got Majolche Fresh to start. Not a bad card, not a fantastic card, but a playable card nonetheless. I should have turned my phone sideways. I lost place. Here we are. Then next off we have the Mermail Link 2, Abyssalica.
I mean, it's seeing played at the moment. It was at the time that was their only off-turn interaction. Like, if they made you go first, you were needing to summon the link to do anything.
Yes. Next off, another banned card, Isolde, 2,000 Noble Knights.
I always hated that card, and I will hate it.
I love that card so much. Then just Shadol Construct. The fact that card pointed sideways made it completely redundant.
Not even that. The fact it needed 2 flip monsters to make it made it redundant.
It was playable in the Insect flip deck.
Sure.
Next off, a card that again became good in time, Clifford Genius.
Yeah, again, niche applications.
You
but-
could play it in what's the deck? Super Heavy Samurai?
Okay. Yep.
You pen summon in Super Heavy Samurai to its zones, then you search the negate, the Regulus. After that, we've got the Ritual Beast, Ulti Comafalcus. Not very good.
Oh, it became important
yeah.
in the current run.
Yeah. The Zephyr Metaltron, the like Link 3 Pendulum
Oh, that was great. in
one that
Pendulum.
you'd summon into.
I fucking loved that card.
Aruma's Fairy Jasmine.
Yeah.
Yep, busted card in time. Completely forgot this was in here. Cherubini.
Oh, shit.
Cherubini was in here because we got Cherubini in the second set after Brains Pack.
Yeah, it was a while that we waited for Cherubini.
We got Cherubini with Orcus.
Yes.
Yes, they all came at once. Who would have guessed those cards good together? Then we get Heavy Metal Foes Electromite after that. Busted card.
Got so bored.
He's trying to be here.
I'm trying to understand the format.
Krishron Halka Fibrax. We're just going through effectively apology cards here. Halka Fibrax. Then we've got
Because the starter links was rough.
Alistair the Invoker of Madness. Because we effectively had nothing. We had dog shit links, and then they gave us
like,
all of this.
Like the Miss Star Boys and the Mrs. Radiance to start with. So it was like you had to limp to a link summon.
We're still like a year away from.
Decode Talker. That was like the epitome of links at that point.
We're still a year away from Nightmares.
I left before. Well, I saw pendulums and I was like, nah,
I'm out.
I'm out.
That was it, by the way. That's all of Various Pack 1. 50% broken. I actually think there's a 25% banned rate.
Yeah.
Some say complain that
And I didn't come back until after Lynx had successfully.
Once
But-
they said you don't have to point to anything anymore.
Yeah. Like there was the whole ruling change, right, where you had to summon.
Yeah, so when links first came in, you
Genuinely-
had to summon to
He?
the EMZ if there was anything but a link.
Yeah.
But if you had a link zone pointing to
Yeah.
something, you could summon there, but that was it.
Yeah.
Once
That-
they
them
changed that,
Them changing that ruling was possibly one of the biggest things for my YouTube channel. Like the video.
you could do a Gem Knight FT game.
No, the video when I hosted DDD combo.
Ah,
I literally just posted the DDD combos you used to do pre-zoo format, and people were like, "This is insane! You mean I can do like 4 negates? Oh my god!"
comment down below if you'd like to see Ben return to DDD combos.
I don't want to do DDD combos anymore.
You
That
don't,
video got like 30,000 views though.
you don't want to do
You don't wanna get-
30,000 hours of study
No,
to work out where they're up to now? They're getting more cards.
They are getting more cards, but DDDs are too big brain.
They've-
I knew DDDs back then. Nowadays, I'm like, I understand it, but like, I'm not going to sit here and
So you
fuck
know
around
how
with it.
like Dragon Link and Fiend Link, it's kind of just you need the bodies. Like there's not
Yeah.
like there's nuance if you're like up there, but like for the most part you're just kind of throwing bodies at the board and seeing where it kind of goes.
Yep.
DDD's not like that.
No.
DDD is so
You specifically need to have these material at this point to be able to get to here, which then gets you to there.
this
and then
needs
off
to be
you go.
summoned there while this is on the board into this specific zone.
Yep.
Otherwise your whole combo's fucked.
Yep.
Like, I don't like the people that are good at it, but I applaud their dedication.
The original spreadsheet deck?
Oh, I mean, technically speaking, Logan had a whole presentation for ABC.
Yeah, but that's not a combo deck at all.
He also didn't sell it.
Yeah. Like,
He could have cornered that early market.
comment down below. That's my question for everyone here this week who's tuned in for my chat on the Tier 0 formats. Yeah. What was the original spreadsheet deck? I think it's DDD. I'm fairly sure it's DDD. But we can move on to another spreadsheet deck and talk about tier now if you want to talk about tier format.
Yeah.
Very
tier
much
format.
not a budget tier 0 format.
No.
Well,
The card that was expensive was Planets, and then it hit the Ishizus.
yeah.
Remember the issues being 2 different prices in 2 different markets because they were short printed in one. They were short printed in NA and not short printed in Europe.
Yeah, so I suppose that's the only reason why it then becomes a non-budget deck, because of how expensive the Ishizu portion of the deck became.
Yeah.
But if you take that aside,
Ishizus
the
weren't,
deck it's
they weren't that expensive once you realized you only need one Agito. Because
Yeah,
Agito
two
was
is
the
nice.
one of the 2 short printed cards.
it was nice though.
Yeah.
I played 2 because the hand effect of Agito was like so underrated. Oh, you'd like a free rank 4? Okay.
Look fair. Free Dweller in the mirror.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
The issue was you're playing it in the mirror and you outmill it.
Yeah, so I suppose that's where tier 4... I mean, you can make the argument for any tier 0 format being aggressive to anything that isn't the deck. I mean, that's kind of the definition. But the people's biggest complaints in the tier 0 was that not only were you setting up a really powerful board, you were also actively interrupting your opponent's plays while doing so by milling
Yeah.
their cards, so they had less chance of seeing their combo / the outs and things like that.
But that-
Whereas Spiral and Zoo and other tier 0 formats were just setting up their own thing with little to no interruption that could stop them in the formats that they existed.
Apart from Cherries was the biggest thing in Spiral.
Terry's was the big thing.
In Zoo, really, realistically nothing.
Maxi.
Like, we didn't have, like, Ash at the start of Zoo format.
At the start of that, we didn't, but we did
Yeah.
have Maxi.
And then
so
they
you
gave us-
could hope to draw into Kaijus off the Maxi. That was like the big thing.
Yeah.
So the reasoning for me that I like tier so much, like, would you count Snake Eye as a tier 0 format?
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so tier over Snake Eye for me. But tier format, the reason why I like it so much was because even if you were playing the mirror, they would technically start your own plays.
Yes.
And then you'd be able to just pop shit off them and just play.
The reason
was
why I don't
interactive.
like that format is because it's a luck. It's a pretty
Yeah, I
luck-based
was gonna
format.
say, I
Like,
feel
yes,
It will...
yes, good players rose to the top, because they knew when to not activate effects that they didn't need to activate.
That was
Yes.
the biggest thing
But
in
like
tier.
when you sit down from someone who's like, I'm going to activate every miller the moment you mill it off your millers, it's like, this is fucked.
Yeah,
This has become a luck-based game.
the press button play was definitely like the differentiator
It frustrated the
between good and
shit
bad
out of me to
players.
play against someone who was a press button player in the team format, and I was like, I don't want to play this mirror. Yeah.
Okay.
That was definitely like the difference. But yeah, being such a gambling heavy deck in effect, I suppose not everybody's going to like that because some people are very DDD minded in that things happen in a certain way.
Yeah.
So like the fluidity to play tier was definitely not everybody's thing.
Yep.
Whereas like Spiral and Zoo, well, maybe no, it was to a point with Zoo. Like it was a definite thing of this happens, this happens, this happens. Whereas Tier was like everything was on the fly,
Yeah.
other than normal summon Rhino Heart. That was the only thing that, assuming they didn't interrupt it, was gonna happen.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like, is that the ultimate point to? Well, no, Callus was probably always the ultimate point of Imperm.
Oh, 100%.
Raxia, he's back.
Oh, 3 likes, yeah.
We're talking tier zeros.
Yes.
Talk Dragon Rulers.
No,
haven't
we didn't
gone
go back
back
that
that
far. The theme was budget tier zero formats to catch you up.
And I suppose lastly,
We're talking about Rushel. We're covering Rushel today on the news. That's going to be the next thing we talk about.
we're struggling for news. And I suppose lastly, Snake Eyes is probably again verging, if not on the tier zero.
Like,
But
Snake Eyes had good decks to compete against it, but it was the best deck in the room, and you can't argue against that. And it was the best deck for a long time.
Snake Eye. So you had Snake Eye. Snake Eye could go with decks. It wasn't itself until it got popular.
Yes, of course.
So Snake Eye was allowed to be put in, let's say, Rescue Ace. Then it got put in with
Just any
Fiendsmith.
any
and
level
just-
1 fire
Yeah.
that you could summon off of the spell.
Yeah.
That's effectively what Snake Eyes was until you got popular and you got Princess, and then it became its own kind of beast.
Yeah, true. Do you
Yes.
reckon Princess was a mistake?
Probably.
I mean, it's
Fuck
only
all now.
it's. I was gonna say
Yeah.
it's only a mistake because of how consistent and powerful Snake Eye was. Like now
Yes.
that Snake Eye's not in the room, if someone has a princess in their grave, you're probably like, okay,
What are you doing here?
All right.
Yeah. Rescue Ace, baby.
And then the other thing as well is that with Snake Eye, it wasn't like it definitely had a huge amount going on its board, but again, it had a lot that it was competing against, so it wasn't an unbreakable board. However, because of where the game is at just generically, as well as the fact that they had so much recursion built into their already existing mechanics, if you didn't literally take them to zero on the crackback, they were breaking your board without question. And the fact that like it needed so little cards to run its engine, like it was running a huge amount of garnets in effect, but because of that, they had so much room for non-engine disruption
Yes.
that it made it a lot more difficult.
Like, you realize pretty early on into the format of just like, hold on, pure Snake Eyes is the way to go, because I can play 18 hand traps, and I have so many one-card starters, it's not funny. To the point of like, there are occasions where normal summon a hand trap is full combo,
Yeah,
because you just have the spell and you're like, whoop,
You
oh
have
my god,
something
I
on
have something
board.
to send now.
yeah.
Off we go.
Do you reckon tier 0 formats will not really become a thing anymore because of how many hand traps that we think that we need to play?
Yes, but I also think Konami's a bit... I feel as though, despite the fact that at the moment Ryzeal and Malice are such good decks, I still don't think they're at the same power ceiling as what we've had in the past.
No, absolutely not.
I definitely think we're in a manufactured format at the moment of like, we're only here because other stuff's been hit.
Yeah.
And I think that's also part of the reason why I don't feel like the current format is bad.
No.
Because none of these decks are hyper repressive. Like, yes, Ryzeal does well, like, as a overall. Like, yes, Ryzeal is by far the best deck at the moment. However, like, it's not that oppressive. Like, it's pretty easy to hand trap if you open the hand traps. Like, it is a very easy deck to counter. However, it's also a very easy deck to play. One extender that you have in your hand is like, well, free play. Off I go. Let's see if we've got the second hand trap. And it eats a lot of hand traps to get there. That's why I think the current format is good. Yes, I do think there will be a day where we enter another Tier 0 format. There will eventually come a point when Konami prints something that's just highly overpowered, because at the end of the day, it sells sets.
Yeah.
Like, they can print something that's super overpowered in a main set, print its best card as a secret, rake in the money for a little while. It's effectively just a little hit button in case of emergency. Is anything like that on the horizon? I don't think so. Like, Yummy's a very good deck, don't get me wrong, but K9 does some interesting things that I think will counter it quite well. We will also probably still have Malice in a pretty good spot going into that format as well, so we'll probably see quite a bit of competition between the two decks. It will be interesting to see what happens, though, like if Yummy becomes the best deck, or if K9 becomes the best deck, will Konami bother to hit Malice? Or will we just kind of sit in an awkward format like we kind of are now, where a ban list isn't really necessary? Like, we know at the moment that if we hit Ryziel, in 2 months Malice is going to by far be the best deck. It's not be close.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're in an awkward spot right now. We're like, what do we do? But yeah, of course, the current Tier 0 format, like I said at the start, is in Rush Duel on Duel Links. If you want to go play it, you can go and play in a Tier 0 format for $20. Off you go. Rather interestingly, though, this is something that I did when I was doing my research into what goes into these Tier 0 decks. It isn't as budget as you think it is, because there are only 2 battle traps in Rush Duel, which is part of the problem as to why this deck is so oppressive.
Yeah,
You've got 6,000 life. You can infinitely summon from hand in this format, so you can just literally unlimited normal summons. Gaia can push for game. That's why there's variants playing more back or removal are just kind of showing up as well. Because there are 2 battle traps, and one of them is limited, so you can only play 1 negate attack, because it's a legendary card. The other one you could only get if you played a special event a year ago. So, congratulations. If you didn't play that event, you do not have that card. So,
And that's why people were playing more spell and trap removal.
Yeah, so you play more spell and trap removal to remove those back row cards, and then off to the races you go. If you draw the ability to get to a fusion summon, you're probably winning the game. Yeah. And then that brings us to the news.
Yes, so
We're talking Rush Duel this week, baby. Despite the fact Bragg's not here, even though he's now here.
So, in Rush Duel, there's a bunch of stuff really announced. The only thing I really wanted to bring up was...
Kurt's going to build a Rush Duel deck, by the way. He promised us he would build a Rush Duel deck. Let's see where he goes with it. Is he going to build Gaia in real life?
You made a stupid promise. So, in Rush Duel, the main news that I wanted to bring up was the release of the Ultimate Black Magic Structure deck. So this is not Dark Magician. Well, it is, but it isn't. It's Magician of Black Chaos, specifically. So its only effect as the normal ritual is its name is treated as Dark Magician while in the graveyard.
It's Dark Magician support.
So they get, obviously, Dark Magician Girl.
Well, these cards, Dark Magician Girl already exist in the game.
Yes, they do. So I don't know if
Do they have tertiary support that's good?
Well, I don't know if... Oh, no, that's a reprint. It says so. This one seemingly is a new card. Explorer of the Temple. Shuffle 2 monsters from your graveyard into the deck. Choose 1 level 7 ritual monster with 23 attack and 25 defense in your graveyard. Special summon it to your field face up.
Okay, it's specials.
Yep.
Does the ritual have to legally be summoned first?
I would imagine so.
Okay.
Because there is a ritual spell.
Interesting.
Ritual summon
that's
by
just...
sending monsters in your hand and or your field.
They didn't give it any help.
Yeah.
This is the first ritual card I believe exists in Rush Duel as well. Which is bad.
So they didn't decide to fix the normal inherent problems with ritual.
Yeah.
They just went,
Also, just quickly to rush back onto Rush Duel Tier 0 formats.
rush back, I see what he did there.
The deck that I play for Rush Duel IRL was a Tier 0 format. It's not anymore, but there's a bunch of cards limited. It was 7 Roads Fusion. Effectively, fusion summon with Grave, shuffle back into the deck. The only deck that hard counted was Harpies, because Harpies was effectively a stun deck.
Harpies is getting stuff
It's
too.
exactly like Flunderies getting played in tier format.
Yeah.
Literally did the exact same thing.
So in some other news, we had a few VJump promos announced. The one that I hate the most is the Sky Striker link, even though we were promised that the Sky Striker story was over.
It's over.
So it is a
Instead,
dark...
it was just Jova.
They have announced very little detail so far, only that it is a dark Link 1 that points down. We'll know the full effects as of the 7th. I hope it's shit, because I really don't want to have to do a Sky Striker ever again. Then we
Yummy
had,
Duelist Rise! Woo!
Then we had
I
a
probably
couple
don't like this,
others. So we've got 2 spellcasters, light spellcasters that revolve around the graveyard. Neither are particularly good. And then the Starship Adjuster, which is a wind machine. The revive. Oh no, it doesn't revive. I'm just making the facts up.
That's okay.
Modulates levels. So targets another machine. They both become the combined thingy. But you can't special summon except for machine exists for the rest of the turn. Not amazing. That's why I sort of shoehorned that effect in the Reborn things, because that would have made it good.
Yeah, that's rough.
Yeah.
Wait, is that in the database?
It's showing up in the OCG database, yeah.
Very interesting that that's how they've announced the card's effect.
I mean, that's how we found out that the plush fire errata happened.
Yeah, okay, sure.
So we also had the last card of the K9 support having been announced. This is a continuous spell, Case of K9. When this card resolves, add a K9 monster from your deck to your hand. K9 monsters you control gain 900 attack the turn your opponent activates a monster effect in the hand or graveyard. If this card is in the spell and trap zone destroyed by card effect, set 1 K9 quick play spell from your deck or graveyard.
So it's just a Rota. Like, we did discuss last week that the deck really just needed a Rota.
It didn't have any good spell traps, so the monster that added a spell was like, what am I adding?
What am I going to add? Now you add a Rota.
Now we add a Rota.
Which I think makes their ability to get to fucking old mate McKexy, skip your turn,
a lot easier.
a lot easier.
Okay, so the thing with that is that, as far as I can work out, they're locked out of Light XZ, so how do they summon Chaos?
Only 2 of the monsters locked
Only
you out of
2
Light
of them.
XZs. The other 2 are free generic. Which
Ah.
I think are the 2 good ones. So I think if your opponent
The one that
activates a
adds
monster
the
effect...
spell doesn't lock you.
Yeah. If they activate a monster effect in hand during your turn, you can go into it.
Ah, that's cringe.
Yeah.
So-
Because then they can summon the Lycan back from grave and then...
Well, I suppose the big thing with that is that all you have to do is just not hand trap them. But I suppose that's not the format that we've been in for the last 3 years.
The deck seems to really thrive if you hand trap them, but it's not a good hand trap. I feel like if you just either hold your hand traps or hand trap them at the right time, free win.
Yeah. Because you need to activate something for them to be able to summon, right?
Yeah, I believe so. They don't summon for free if you don't activate a card.
So just don't activate cards.
Yeah. It's like they're police for hand traps. Wee woo wee woo.
We also have a few more archetypes announced for the Valuable Book EX5. So we announced a few last week. I'll probably be saying some more again. But
What was it, sorry?
the Valuable Book EX5.
What is
the
that?
law book?
Oh, okay, I thought so. I thought so.
Yeah. So we have the Sinful Spoils, the Argo Star, the Malice, the Ryzil, the Ryuge, Fiendsmith Punk, Evil Twin, Eldritch, Dragon Maid, Orcust. It is getting story. We find out stuff.
Isn't the story in
Yeah,
Master?
but they have 2 new things. We need to know where those 2 new things came from.
Isn't it? Okay, sure.
We need to find out where new things came from.
He wants the law.
That's why we're also getting...
What happened to Mermaid?
That's why we're also getting Dragon Ruler, Necros, Fabled, Fire King, Atlantean Mermail, Cyber Style, which I believe is the Cyberdark Keel, Cyberdark Edge, all that nonsense. Cyber Art Underworld, reverse Cyber Style it has in brackets.
Cyber Dragons?
Yeah, maybe why there's a Dark Cyber Dragon and a Light Cyber Dragon? Maybe?
Sure.
And About Aku, the Lightless Shadow.
Just one card getting a law.
Well, they did the same for Promethean Princess. So I feel like now, once a year, we're going to get a link-related monster to a certain type/attribute that stands alone.
Where does Zeus law?
Did we not get
When
it?
are we getting... Are those anime supposed to be coming in soon?
2 weeks.
Oh. Neat.
3 weeks?
Very
Soon.
neat. Remember, kids, put it in your calendar because I'm fairly sure that same week we're getting JoJo's.
So
news.
we've got
New JoJo's anime.
12th of April.
We've gotten fire.
Wait, it is the same day. I'm assuming it's probably like some anime festival that each of them have panels at, and they're releasing it there.
Maybe? I mean, it's coming out on YouTube, so it'd be interesting.
Get your JoJo's news same day. Steel Ball Run anime coming soon.
Anyway, Kurt's tried to say something 5 times. What would you like to say?
He wants to say that he loves
I was
JoJo's.
saying Princess is the fire one, and then we've got About is light, right?
Light and dark.
Oh, it's light and dark?
Yeah.
Ah,
Otherwise, it would not work in Malice.
true. Okay, yeah.
Woo!
So, moving on to some questions. I should
Some
say.
questions?
One question.
Moving on to question.
If you weren't aware, link is in the description
Question.
below for our Discord. Jump in, say hi, and ask us question.
Question today comes from
Jesse. Jesse asks, if you could design an archetype, what niche mechanic that already exists would you rework in a fun way? He personally loves the Tri-Brigade link cheating mechanic.
I still am very firmly on my side of Xyz and Synchro Summoning from Grave.
That's not a mechanic that exists.
Yeah, like Synchro and Xyz, but you can summon from Grave.
Okay, but that's not a niche mechanic that already exists. That's just an
Synchro
extra
Summoning,
from graveyard.
but banishing from the material from Graveyard. And Xyz Summoning, but using the materials come back from Grave to form the Xyz material. Make like some kind of fucking Chaos archetype. I don't know, man.
I'd like my synchroing with the board or with
What about
whatever.
from Grave?
Yeah,
You
nah.
you like-
Synchro from deck.
You like synchroing when you're not supposed to synchro.
Exactly.
Opponent's turn. Synchro!
Have you read my link one? I pay 100 life points.
Oh, it's just occurred to me why you like Yummy so much. I thought you liked it because it's good. You're like, no, it synchros other times.
I can
It
make
synchros
white.
3 turns. 3 turns, 3 times.
He gets to make white on his opponent's turn in 2 ways.
Dear God. I personally love a non-target send. I don't know how you would make that into an entire thing.
It's called power creep.
Yeah,
It's-
basically, I want multiple Dingirsus. That's what I want.
You want a monster that when you search it from deck to hand, special summons for free, and then non-target sends a card.
All part of the same effect.
Yep.
So it can be ashed, so it's balanced.
Yeah. Just like Ding.
I also like jump scare monsters, kind of like Mech Knights and Horuses. They just sort of just go, oh, conditions been met.
Hello.
And then they non-target send.
Yeah! That's all I want. I just want monsters to summon for free and send immediately. Is that so much to ask, Konami?
When we get
Is
the Mech Knight retrain, it'll be like if your opponent has 2 cards in the same column, special summon this card to the board, then non-target send the column.
Remember when Iron Dragon
Yeah.
Tiamaton was busted?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
it
yeah.
wasn't busted. It was hyped. That was
Look.
fun. That was a fun week.
Is there a deck that synchro summons with your opponent's monsters?
No, there is one Speedroid card that does that.
Oh, okay.
It's
Just-
not good.
Just remember, guys, whenever you think a card is bad, just remember, Good Goblin Housekeeping was on the ban list.
When?
Like 2008.
I'll have to read what it does. I don't know. What
It draws a card.
Ah,
However, it draws a card for each Good Goblin Housekeeping in your graveyard.
bust.
So it draws 1 on the first activation, then it draws 2, then it draws 3. It was like semi-limited at a point because I guess draw 3 is a bit much.
Pot of Greed's banned.
Yeah.
Too strong. Too strong. Anyway, that does conclude us for this week. Thank you all very much for listening and watching. If you are watching along, feel free to like and subscribe. If you are listening, feel free to favourite. Jump onto our Discord. Please ask us some questions, and we'll catch you all next week.
Also-
OCG ban list coming out in about
Yep.
24 hours as well.
It'll be out by the time this episode comes out. But if you like these kind of open form discussions,
Yes.
do let us know. If you have any topics you want us to have a talk about, like maybe in questions, like just put like an asterisk that you think this would be a great idea for a long form discussion.
Topic to talk about.
Yeah,
No, no,
and if we
topic
think
to
it is,
talk about.
we'll kind of throw it in on these weeks where it's a bit of a slow news week.
Did I not say that?
No, he said chalk. So I was making fun of him.
Oh.
Talk about.
Catch you all next week. Peace.
Goodbye.
Bye.